What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out recently called Dreamin', so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. Okay, guys, this is a little bit of a shoot from the hip type of video because literally just yesterday, I made a video talking about grain, well, talking about research in general, but we looked at this land leaderboard for grain, and it was at 8.444 billion. Today, or at least I'm checking it roughly around the same time, maybe actually even a little bit later in the day, but again, just getting a rough estimate here. And we're at 8.183 billion, which means that we have burned over 250 million grain, 261-ish million, right, to be exact, since the time I recorded the last video, which might be a little bit more than 24 hours. So that's why I'm saying, like, at 250 million, how long is that going to last us if that is the run rate of grain currently? So I was just running the math here, and I'm doing it off screen, but it's just like if we take, let's just say 8 billion, right, or 8.1 billion, 8183, and I'm going to divide that by 250. It gets you roughly 32 days. 32 days of grain, which means that unless things change drastically or more grain comes online, we are going to burn through the amount of grain in Pretoria at the current rate in a month. That is absolutely bonkers. So I was shocked to see how much it came down. Again, yesterday was the first time that I'd seen that, there was a place to track this. And now, I mean, I'll be tracking this all the time just because it's like, I want to see how quickly grain is going to become a real issue here. So what are the actionable steps from this? Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling people what to do, but grain is about to get much more scarce than I think people realize. And for the people that already have a ton of grain or are producing a ton of grain, I think this will be a great thing, right? But what this could also offer in terms of like secondary order effects is maybe some of these grain plots start to come online now because there will be an opportunity. Now, I'm not saying, again, this is not financial advice. I'm not saying that the price of grain is about to shoot up. I mean, maybe it will, right? If somebody else is onto this and they're recognizing that it is what it is. But keep in mind, 30 days is a long period of time, and 8 billion grain tokens is still quite a bit. Over that time frame, I'm sure many people will figure out or reconfigure some of their land plots to adjust for that, right? So that doesn't mean that grain is going to shoot to the moon or grain plots are going to shoot to the moon. All I'm saying is that at this current run rate, and we're only about a week into land at this point, like literally just a week. They just finished maintenance for this Tuesday. At this point, we are burning through a hell of a lot of grain. Now, again, I only have 1 day's worth of data points. I don't know where we were a week ago. If somebody else has a snapshot of that and can share it, I'd love to see what our run rate is for the entire week, just so we can get more of like a daily average. But I mean, using or burning through 261 million grain in a single day or about a single day is quite wild, considering that there's only about 8 billion grain out there. So this is more so just calling it out. Like I said, it's more of a shoot from the hip type of video. I just saw it and I was like, I need to put this out there just because I'm curious to get other people's reactions to this and responses. Now, what am I doing? Again, it's not like I went through and bought a ton of grain. I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to front run you on the market. That's not my goal. In fact, I'm actively selling a lot of resources. Usually I will sell grain, any excess grain that I have, because I hold about 100,000 just to have it there. But I'll sell anything extra either for DEC. Well, yeah, at this point, I'm selling it for DEC to pair it with some of the other resources that I get into the LP. But, it's actually kind of fascinating to see where the price of grain is currently and where it'll go, because I think it's still coming down quite a bit. It was significantly higher last week, and we're starting to see the prices all kind of like normalize out. Now, I'll save that for a separate video because I kind of want to go over where all the pools are at. They're all starting off a little bit slower than I would have expected, but I think this could potentially drive the game economy in the right way, because now it's not just these new resources that are going to be very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Very, very scarce, right? Because it's all brand new. I mean, grain is going to reach an equilibrium a lot faster than I would have expected if we maintain this run rate. And again, I want to emphasize, if we maintain this current run rate. If things start to slow down, if things start to normalize out, people start to get other plots online or they switch plots back, right? And keep in mind, a lot of this is like, it could be that there are a ton of potential grain producing plots with monsters or with units, with DEC already on them that were going for SPS, that were going for research. I think a lot of those could potentially switch to grain without us having, new land pop up or grain price kind of going and skyrocketing, right? Wherever we're at right now, obviously grain to me is always going to set the tone because that's the most required resource. Not from in the standpoint that it's always going to be super scarce and therefore it's going to drive up the price. I'm just saying it's always in demand. Every plot at this point needs grain in order to function. So it is the most abundant, but it's also the one in highest demand. And wherever that lands, to me, that's the baseline, right? And I've talked about this in previous videos where we go through and look at, the creation rate or production rate for each of the other resources. Like wood is 4x that of grain. Stone, I think, is 10x of grain. And sorry, not 10x, but like 1/10 of grain, right? And then 1/20th for iron. Grain is always going to be the one that sets the baseline. But we are in such a crazy recalibration time period that we just don't know what that looks like yet. And I thought that this recalibration time period might take weeks and months, but we're at a point now where the recalibration could happen quickly and violently, because if we see grain continue to get consumed at the rate that it is, we're going to have to find a new equilibrium. And either that means more plots coming online or other plots coming back online, meaning, right, like so more plots starting from scratch, or other plots being repurposed back into grain and then finding that equilibrium. So it could actually happen a lot sooner than I was expecting, simply because we're going to eat through all of that excess, which for people out there who are like, oh my gosh, we have literally billions of grain out there, this is crazy, yada, yada, yada. You're right. You are absolutely right that, that we all thought that was the case. But I don't know, the numbers now after this, it's not even a halving. It's a 3/4 thing, right? That happened. We are starting to see a significant burn rate. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Very curious to see where this ends up. But otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.